So, last night, we ended off. Did everybody see the presentation last night, or do you have a few new people in here? All right. Well, last night, we basically went over the whole scientific side of what's actually going on as you're sitting there staring at the television or movies or anything that has a blinking light source to it. And how does that affect us? And then using that mode of thinking, if, like Ephesians 6:12 here says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in heavenly places, then what does that mean in terms of how is the devil using this information in the movies and this psychology and this technology? And how is it that he's got a hold of this tool and is propagating his worldview, if you will? Do the actors and people that make the movies themselves, do they know what they're doing?
Yes.
I would pretty much say that a lot of the tippy-top people, some of the most notorious directors, probably Steven Spielberg, all these big names that you hear on a daily basis, the household celebrity names, they probably have a pretty good idea. I mean, Tom Cruise, I'm sure, thinks that, we came from aliens and whatnot. So they might have various different slants. But I think on the most part, a lot of them are working with this thing. And also, we all know that if you're not used by God, you can be easily used by the devil. So whether or not they directly know it or not is quite a debate, actually. As I was in Hollywood, I wanted to be a filmmaker. I lived, breathed, ate, slept movies. I watched everything. I analyzed everything so much that I would barely pay attention to the movie. I'd watch how they shot it and everything. And I used to subscribe to this American Cinematographer magazine. And I once had these spread out and laid out on my table, and I was kind of looking at the covers. And as you kind of look at them here, you kind of see this common theme threaded in a lot of different movies, all sorts of spiritualistic things, devils, angels, Christ, of course. So as I started analyzing, well, who are these people and what do they believe? Because art is supposed to affect you, right? So the belief system of the people that are making the things, what are they trying to translate to us? One of the writers of a movie called Taxi and The Last Temptation of Christ, Paul Schrader here, he has been very open with Hollywood's systems of belief, and he's actually come out in quite a few interviews and said, Hollywood absolutely doesn't really like you guys. And here's some clips from, here's a quote from him that he came out in an interview, and he says, "I'm not in the business of validating people's preconceptions or stroking their mindset and giving them an hour and a half of diversion. I like to rock. I like to get in there, and not a very nice word, with their heads." So he's basically a writer that's saying, I don't really care what you guys think. I want to get inside of your head and start messing with you.
People have this mistaken notion that the Hollywood system has principles, morals, or values. It doesn't.
They're just nose-thumbing movies. They are there to thumb their nose at your values, saying, we don't care if you like us, we don't like you.
So basically, he's saying that a lot of Hollywood directors that come out with some of these movies, they don't care what you think. They're going to make what they want to think. They don't care what it does to you. They're going to put their values on there. One of the writers of the movie Clerks and Chasing Amy has come out and said that he likes to put morals in his movies. And here's what he says in an interview. Kevin Smith is his name.
You put it out there, and hopefully they get it. And I always like to think of it as like I've got them sitting there, whip a little message at them, whip a little moral at them, whip a little of what my view of the world is, because that's what every good filmmaker does. And we'll lead the world into the 21st century, and I'll make a profit on their backs.
And I don't know if anybody here has ever seen any of this guy's movies. They're absolutely full of zero morals whatsoever. So basically, if that's his idea of putting morals out there, it's pretty interesting. The executive producer of The Lord of the Rings, The Nutty Professor, Harvey Weinstein, says this about movies. They, movies, have given Americans an acceptance of things I don't think they would have embraced. Maybe they were tricked into it by an exciting marketing campaign, but when they came out of it, they came out different. So he's saying that, look, when you go into a movie, you're coming out a different person.
You played what in Mr. Goodbar?
He was a coked up downtown guy, that was on the scene. It's basically, for better or for worse, I taught America to do coke in this movie. How to do it, how you put it out, you find the razor and run around the thing.
He's talking about a movie that he was in that he basically taught America how to do cocaine. After this movie came out, cocaine was so glamorized that it flooded the Hollywood system, and all of a sudden that drug went through the roof. And here he's admitting, look, because of that movie, I taught them how to do it, what to do. So they are aware of the fact that they are affecting the population. One of the writers of the movie The Mission, David Putman, says this about movies. Movies are powerful, good or bad. They tinker around inside your brain. They steal up on you in the darkness of the cinema to form or conform social attitudes. In short, cinema is propaganda. So cinema is used to basically project a belief system or some idea of the people that are making it. So let's talk a little bit about the superheroes for a second. Doesn't it seem like every single movie that's coming out right now is some sort of supernatural superhero movie? It's interesting that they're really starting to make these movies mainstream. I mean, things that were just basically cartoons and for kids, now they're being they're some of the biggest blockbusters out there. Spider-Man, all these different superhero movies have some of the top positions of selling their movies. So what does it mean to be a superhero? Where do we get the term superheroes from? If you look at the definition of a hero, it's a man of distinguished courage and ability, admired for his brave deeds and noble qualities, which is classical mythology. Or like number 2, it's a being of godlike prowess and beneficence who often came to be honored as divinity. So a hero in Greek and classical mythology is known as a godlike character that was basically worshipped as divinity.
The ancient gods of Greece and Rome and Egypt still exist, only today they wear spandex and capes.
Superman is as much of a Moses figure as he is a Christ figure. It's coming from another world, having all this power and really saving lives.
Our redemption is not going to come from here, goes the myth. Instead, we will be saved from the outside.
These are the writers of the comic books that are saying this.
Batman, the Dark Knight detective, Gotham's greatest protector. His parents killed before him at an early age. He is the world's greatest detective. He's the world's greatest escape artist, and he's arguably the world's greatest hand-to-hand combatant. He also has $1 bazillion, and that's not somebody you want to go up against.
One of the reasons that Batman has been so popular for so long is his iconography is that of a demon. I mean, look at the medieval paintings of devils in museums, the bat wings, the horns. He looks like something that's dark and evil, and his origins are in an act of murder, and yet he's on your side.
Wonder Woman is a perfect transition from the ancient myths. There are echoes of the Amazons in Homer's writing that refers to a tribe of women that lived without men, that were terrifyingly efficient soldier warriors.
Flash, the fastest man alive, can move at speeds near the speed of light, can outrace a bullet to its target, can run up the side of a building, can actually cross the ocean before he has time to sink.
There's the old Flash, and then there's the new Flash. The old Flash is a perfect counterpart for Hermes or Mercury in the old myths. You know it immediately when you see the helmet with the wings on it. It refers to the god of the messengers. In effect,